Livestream.org live stream. It is Thursday, July 20th. Welcome to those of you who are new in the group. What took you so long to find us? We're glad that you're here. We need you. This is a working, fighting group. We've been living and breathing the student loan issue for 18 years, guys. We've seen all the tricks and the traps, and everything we're seeing right now is basically more tricks and more traps. We're fighting for two things, guys. We're fighting for student loan cancellation by executive order. That's a no-brainer. The president can, I don't care what the Supreme Court says, president can indeed, Secretary of Education can indeed cancel student loans by executive order. It can be done. It has been done. Donald Trump did it twice, by the way. Anyways, but you know, guys, particularly if you're new to the group, the most important thing that we're fighting for, the thing upon which everything else depends, is the return of bankruptcy rights, as the founding fathers called for in the Constitution, to student loans, to all student loans, federal student loans, private student loans, all student loans, exactly as they exist, bankruptcy rights for all other loans in this country. Now, whatever you want to see happen with your own student loans, maybe you want them canceled totally. I think most of us do. Maybe you want forgiveness of interest or cancellation of interest. Maybe you want some other fair workout. Well, we will get none of those things unless and until we get the right. Hopefully nobody, very few people, maybe even nobody will actually have to file. We've got to get the right of bankruptcy returned. It's not that anybody wants to file for bankruptcy. That is not important. Very few people, as I said, should have to file, maybe nobody. We've got to get the leverage of bankruptcy returned to these loans. Look, guys, the past 3.5 years have demonstrated what probably the best that we can expect from this president or the next, as long as the leverage of bankruptcy remains gone from these loans. Why the press doesn't make, or the media doesn't make a report about this very critical piece of, I don't know, freedom infrastructure? It is. I mean, founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws ahead of the power to declare war and raise an army. It's a fundamental freedom, fundamental right that every citizen should have for all loans. So why the press doesn't report on it more? Well, that's a longer story. I can maybe get into that a little bit, but guys, it is the most important thing. We've got to fight for bankruptcy, guys. Got to. And as I said, this is a working, fighting group. We came very close last session to getting bankruptcy returned to federal student loans. All we needed, I mean, with a couple of reasons we fell short, I can get into that later, but I would say the main reason that we fell short is not enough people were helping us. You know, we're the largest grassroots group, largest group, I think, in the country. 1.2 million members from our petition, another couple 300,000 members from our Instagram and all our other platforms, Facebook, etc. Not enough people were helping us fight, guys. These are your loans. This is your livelihood, and this is your battle. And one of the most important things we've learned over the years is that when you sit back and you wait and you watch and you worry and you wring your hands and you wonder what they are going to do, I can tell you, they are going to continue to screw us forever. They are going to put their own kids through college with no debt on our backs. They are going to buy second and third homes, and in some cases, build their own private golf courses and purchase their own Major League Baseball teams on our backs. That's what they are going to do. And when I say they, I mean the people at the Department of Education, the private banks, the swamp den of NGOs, and frankly, ladies and gentlemen, I even mean groups out there that claim to be fighting for student loan borrowers. That's true. AstroTurf is a very real thing out there. There's some groups out there that they are making money by fighting for, at least ostensibly, fighting for student loan cancellation. They're not actually fighting for cancellation. They're fighting for nonsense. They're making too much money off of this thing to actually want to solve it. We on this group actually want to solve it. and where all of the other groups are completely silent on the bankruptcy issue, we are shouting from the rooftops. So that's the short version of what this group is all about. You need to be helping us if you want to be in this group. We don't want wallflowers here. We need fighters, and we've come a long way. A quick shout out to Michael Chaney, who was featured in Barron's magazine today in a not terrible piece about student loans and when repayment starts and all the people who aren't going to be able to pay, which is most borrowers, by the way. My best estimate is that 75 or 80% of everyone will not be resuming paying on their student loans when the repayment pause resumes. I can prove that to you if you're more curious. Go ahead and ask, and I'm happy to explain why that's true. Yesterday, we were featured in not great article, but not terrible article at The Hill. Over the past month, we've been featured on Fox News and Newsweek twice, and The Guardian, I think, twice, and many, 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 many other places. We've been really kicking ass lately, guys, and so I want to thank all of you who have been doing the hard work, or those of you who stepped up to be interviewed, like Mike Chaney, a truck driver in Ohio, by the way. So we're getting good media, and that's pretty rare, guys, because the media has been captured on this issue. The big thing that we have going on today, and I maybe should have mentioned this first, we're working closely with change.org, who our petition is through change.org/cancel student loans. They've taken a real keen interest in this petition. It's 1.2 million signatures now. We think we can get it up to 20 million signatures, guys. But we're doing a national group project today. Go to change.org/cancel student loans and read the most recent update so that you can see it for yourself. But it's pretty simple. The long and the short of it is we are asking everyone to make a very simple block red graphic. And the hashtag is what's your number? And you just type in what your current student debt number is. And then like below that, you can type in like, I originally borrowed this much. So like in my case, I actually don't know how much I owe, but I think I owe somewhere north of $400,000. I originally borrowed $35,000 on my student loans. So maybe my numbers are maybe a little bit worse than many, but many of us have numbers that are really bad. Like I borrowed 30, I've repaid 50, I owe 80, like stuff like that. So would you please participate in that? I know it's nobody wants to like wear their debt on their chest. You don't have to put your name on the graphic or anything. Just go to change.org/cancel student loans. Check it out. It's definitely worth doing. A lot of people are doing it across Instagram and Twitter and many other places. We're really trying to start something here, guys. And so my hat's off to the change.org people and their team for helping us with this. They're doing some other things as well, and I hope to have more to say about that very soon. But stay tuned, guys. This group right here is the center of the universe. If you want actual student loan justice, not pretend student loan justice, not a $10,000 cancellation gimmick that gets knocked down by the Supreme Court, but actual, for real student loan cancellation. This group is the center of that whole thing. And by the way, we started the whole conversation about canceling student loans by executive order, by the way. That petition that I just said, that was created in March 2020. This was many months and months before anyone was talking about canceling student loans by executive order. Very key caveat there, a little detail. The by executive order part is extraordinarily important. I can explain that too. But for now, guys, I'm going to get to your questions and comments. I've been kind of bad about answering the comments and questions lately, so I'm going to try and dial them in here now today. Hey, Christina Wins with us from Arizona tonight. Christina says, here today, behind all of us getting our rights back, and I did something for us today and every day to get our rights back, cancel these illegal loans, and demand they shut the student loan system down. Well, hallelujah to that, Christina. And Christina's not wrong, guys. the federal student loan program, by all rational metrics, is catastrophically failed. It's failed worse than any loan in this country's history. I think that's true. Let's look at subprime home mortgages, right? The default rate for those loans was 20%. That's about 1 in 5. Well, we know that the default rate for people who left school in 2004, so nearly 20 years ago, the default rate for that class was 40%. So that's twice higher than the subprime home mortgage default rate. But ladies and gentlemen, people who graduated college in 2004, or maybe didn't graduate, people who left school in 2004, they were only borrowing a third of what's being borrowed today. So the default rate among all borrowers walking around today, my best estimate, it's going to be 60, 65, 70, 75, maybe 80%, maybe even higher. Lending systems fail from time to time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put this in perspective, shall we? Right? Like the subprime home mortgage crisis, that was a failed lending system. I don't think the government handled it very well at all. They did it in a way that hurt the people and benefited the banks. But it happens. Lending systems do fail. The subprime home mortgage, the S&L scandal in the 80s. It's a failed lending system. Shit, look at all of Eastern and Western Europe and a lot of Asia after World War II. Like, that wasn't just big lending systems that failed. That was, entire economies that were thrown back into essentially the Stone Ages for a time. So in the big scheme of things, guys, it's not that big of a deal. It truly is not, but it's true nonetheless. The federal student loan program in the United States is failed. Nobody knows where this is going to go. And much depends on what we, on this group right here, do. I kid you not, guys. And by the way, I'm thrilled to point out that we killed it at the Department of Education public hearing the other day. We had at least like 7, 8, 9, 10 people testify publicly for this hearing. And it was very strong. We really represented ourselves quite well, I would say. And so thanks to all of you who pitched in to have your say and speak out. I know it's difficult to speak out publicly on this stuff, guys. I know a lot of people don't even tell their, husbands and wives and family members and significant others about their student loan problems. But guys, we really, really, really need you to speak out. You shouldn't be ashamed. Even before the pandemic, this stat will blow your mind if you haven't heard this. Even before the pandemic, 85% of all borrowers, that's 4.5 out of 5, 85% of all federal student loan borrowers were never going to be able to repay their loans. Like 60% of them were not paying on their loans before the pandemic, 60%. And as I said, that's going up to 70, 75, 80%, who knows, maybe even higher. The lending system has failed, dudes. But for the lack of courage and spine in Washington, D.C., but for some very bad actors that are, trying to perpetuate this loan scam, the federal student loan program would have been shut down many years ago. It needs to be shut down today. Yesterday there's a brouhaha in Congress about how some Republican, and we're a fiercely nonpartisan group, guys, let me say. We hate the Democrats, we hate the Republicans in different ways. The rhetoric from the one is more friendly than from the other, but whatever. We are a fiercely nonpartisan group. Whatever political stripes you may cling to, you are very welcome in this group. But a story out yesterday how Republicans are introducing legislation to try and stop Joe Biden's ridiculous income-driven repayment plan, the very new one, the SAVE program that they've been talking about in recent weeks. How Congress is going to try and stop that from happening, and they may even sue to make it happen if they have to, or some bullshit. That's fine, guys. We don't care. It doesn't matter. The SAVE income-driven repayment plan is nonsense from the get-go. It is. Another article out yesterday talking about how, again, Republicans in Congress are talking about cutting funding for the Department of Education. And honestly, guys, I say do it. I say cut the Department of Education down to zero. Cut the federal student aid office down to zero. You may as well. The lending system is finished. It's done. So you need to get that through your head. It's true. People are going to do what they're going to do when loan repayments resume. But I will tell you, if you ever pay another dollar on your federal student loans, in my humble opinion, that's not only unwise, it's unpatriotic. Nobody should be feeding this beast at this point. It's too far gone. It's not coming back, guys. It's not. And if you do ever pay money into this thing because you feel pressured into it because you're afraid of the federal government and their minions, I think you're way more afraid of them. I think they are way more afraid of us than we should be of them, by the way. But if you ever do pay another dollar on your federal student loans, you will be in the very small minority of all borrowers. That's true. So, one other announcement I have to make, and I should have made this at the top. This group right here, we survive on donations. That's the only way that we get money. We don't make money off of our members' backs. We don't sell our members out to the student loan industry, which other groups do. Other groups make money by railroading, allowing people to haunt their groups and prey upon their members and rope them into extraordinarily unwise loan rehabilitation, loan consolidation, loan refinancing. And they don't talk about it loudly. They keep it to themselves, but they are making a shit ton of money off of your back. We don't do that on this group. We never have, never will. This group is for real. This group is just normal people. I'm a defaulted student loan borrower, by the way. So you know. Anyways, this group is 100% ethically pure. But having said that, it makes it extraordinarily difficult because to operate this group, which we don't require a lot of money, by the way, a few $1,000s a month, like $3,000 a month or something like that, most months. We rely only and totally on donations from normal people like you. Personal gifts. They're not tax deductible, by the way, just personal gifts. So this week, for example, we need right now, well, not right now, by the end of the week, we need 20, I want to say 3 people to donate $20 or more. And you can just go to that link right down there and do that. Just please do that so I can shut up about it. I hate fundraising. It's so difficult for us. And it's amazing how much this group, the historical impact and the real impact we have had on the student loan debate. Like, we wouldn't have seen any meaningful bankruptcy legislation going back a decade or more, but for this group. We wouldn't be talking about student loan cancellation by executive order today, but for this group. So why is it so hard to fundraise? I don't know, guys. It just is. We're grassroots. We're true grassroots. So if you appreciate this group and you want us to stay around, and that is always an open question, guys, because we are, we're essentially a week or two of no funding away from drying up and blowing away in the wind. So please just donate so I can shut up about it. All right. I'm done with that. But you know what's way more valuable than money, guys? And I always do this and it always steps on my donation message, but whatever. Truly, way more important than any money you could possibly give us is doing our daily actions. So every day, nearly, we do these daily actions, and you can see them right there, bit.ly/SLJ daily action. It's usually stuff like retweet this, retweet that, or call this senator and leave a message on their machine, or send an email to this person. But by and large, we've been migrating to Twitter quite a lot lately. I hate Twitter, you hate Twitter, but if you really want to fight and win this battle for real, your student loan battle, Twitter helps. Twitter is pretty useful. I'll just say that. So, maybe you just want to get a Twitter account expressly to fight for student loan justice. That people do that, and that's worth doing. Anyways, I'm not going to belabor the point. We do these daily actions every day. They usually take no more than, I don't know, 30 seconds or a minute or maybe 2 minutes. Like today's daily action was a little more involved. And as I said, if you go to change.org/cancel student loans, look at our update today, you can see what it entails. So we're all making graphics, and I'm going to dial in my graphic for you now, just so you can see what I'm talking about here. And I hope that you'll participate in that, guys. Here it is. So there's my graphic. My number is $400,000 plus. I originally borrowed $35,000. You can see that. We're asking everyone to make a similar graphic and to tag, do the hashtag, what's your number? Just make a graphic like this. That's it. There's a link where you can do it using Canva. If you like Canva, it's a nice platform for graphics editing. But, we're all pretty smart, creative people. I think most of us are pretty good with one or more graphic pieces of graphic software, like, I don't know, Microsoft Paint, or like, I don't know, paintz.app. Those are the two that I use most often. Photoshop, whatever. You can use that too. Like, this is not rocket science, guys. Just make a graphic like this. And then once you've made it, plaster it all over Twitter and Instagram and, I don't know, Snapchat, I don't know, just wherever you think it will do the most good. Just do that. It's a group thing. We have 1.4 plus million members in our group. If even 10% of the people did that, like this action, that would be 50,000 people plastering these graphics up all over the place. Do you understand what great marketing that is? Do you understand that would be, if 10% of the people on our group did that, we'd probably get our petition up to 2 million signatures, like almost overnight. There are 38 million people in the country who are losing sleep over their student loans. You know them. We need to reach them. This is the only group actually fighting this battle as it needs to be fought. If ever you were going to put your energy into fighting for something to get the student loan problem solved, and you frankly must, because these are your loans, that's your problem, it would be doing this. So I don't know how much more clear I can make it, but yeah, guys, the other groups are out to lunch. None of the other groups are fighting for bankruptcy rights. And it really all comes down to that, as unpleasant as bankruptcy is. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But the fact of the matter is, the founding fathers called for bankruptcy head of the power to declare war and raise an army in the Constitution. And bankruptcy rights are the number one thing the bad guys in the swamp fight to keep gone from student loans. Just please believe me. We've been doing this for 18 years, guys, very intensely. And of all the things that I know about student loans, and I know a lot, I know that more strongly than anything. So when we get the right of bankruptcy return, guys, everything changes. Everything. The whole game changes for us. We will see. We might even see total federal student loan cancellation. We might. We absolutely will see all manner of cancellation of interest, negotiated workouts. The leverage of bankruptcy means everything, guys, whether you would ever or never file. All right, I'm not going to repeat myself for the 17th time tonight. I'm just going to leave it to your own devices to think about it and think very carefully about it. And if you do, you will come to the exact same conclusion. And by the way, we're not going to see anything meaningful from Joe Biden or the next president unless and until we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned. It's the kryptonite of the student loan program. So, okay, guys, I'm trying to keep my live stream short. I hope that what I've said has joggled your mind a little bit and hopefully encouraged you to get off your ass and help us. Pardon my French. But as I said, this is a working, fighting group. We're getting stuff done, and we're fighting the right battle for the right reason. The founding fathers are on our side. 38 million people should be on our side. But, we're fighting for tens or hundreds of millions of people who are going to follow in our footsteps, dudes. Because if they can do to other loans what they did to student loans, namely remove this constitutionally enshrined right of bankruptcy, they will. And that is a very quick downward spiral to where all consumer debt you can imagine will be similarly non-dischargeable in bankruptcy. We, the people, will be, in the words of John Adams, conquered and enslaved. I don't want to go there. I hope you don't either. Don't count on anybody else in this group to pull your weight for you. That never happens. You're not better than us, by the way. We need you here fighting with us. We need you getting your hands a little muddy and a little bloody. Feels good to fight this fight, by the way. I think most people, Christina and many others on our group, tens of thousands of others would tell you, it feels really good to be fighting this fight. It's cathartic. All we do is tell the truth, but we need you to join in and row with us in the right direction. When you do, these loans will be canceled. Your student loan problem will be solved, but that's only going to happen when you help. So take heart, take some inspiration. Again, I salute all the veterans out there who've been doing all the toil and trouble. I know it's a pain in the ass. Certainly is a pain in my ass. I get that, but it's a fight worth fighting. And I'll be back tomorrow. So good luck, Godspeed, and God bless everyone.